So, can a machine have a truly original idea? That's what we're going to dig into today. We're going to look at that fuzzy line between artificial intelligence, human creativity, and an incredible medical breakthrough that might just change how we fight cancer.
Okay, let's get right to the heart of it. This is the big question that's going to guide us through this whole thing. Can an AI actually create something from scratch, something totally new? Or is it just a really, really good remix artist, just shuffling and combining all the stuff we've already fed it? This is what we're going to unpack.
But to even start answering that, we have to ask a bigger question. What does new really mean? So we're going to have to explore the very nature of knowledge itself to figure out if an AI can truly pull an idea out of thin air. So to get our heads around this, let's break it down. We're going to look at 3 different ways that new knowledge can come into being. This will give us a kind of toolkit to think about both AI and a huge scientific discovery. First up, we've got something called combinatorial novelty. This is all about synthesis. Think of it like this. You've got Lego bricks from completely different sets, one from engineering, one from biology, one from chemistry, and you click them together in a way nobody's ever thought of before. Suddenly, you've built something totally new and way more powerful than the individual pieces. Next, there's predictive extrapolation. This is where you use what you already know, the patterns you can already see, to kind of map out the future. It's like how astronomers in the 1800s saw a weird wobble in Uranus's orbit, and using the laws of gravity, they predicted the planet Neptune had to be there before anyone had ever actually seen it. They used a map of the known world to chart a course into the unknown. And then we get to the big one, the holy grail, generative discovery. This is what we're all really wondering about, right? Can an AI come up with something that is genuinely out of the blue? Not just a clever remix, not just the next logical step, but a real game-changing leap into the unknown. And this quote, man, it just nails that idea of predictive extrapolation. It's so good. It frames math as more than just a tool for describing what is. It's a scout, an explorer that goes out ahead of us into the space of what could be. Yeah, and here's a perfect way to think about it. Take nuclear fission. The math predicted that if you could just arrange atoms in a very, very specific way, a whole new reality, this source of incredible energy, would unlock. The equations were literally the map to a place no human had ever been. We just had to figure out how to follow it. All right, but this is where it gets tricky. See, a lot of human breakthroughs don't come from pure step-by-step logic. They come from this random, unpredictable spark, something that current AI, for all its power, just can't seem to do. At least not yet. Just look at the difference here. The human process is, well, it's messy. It comes from gut feelings, from weird connections you make while you're taking a walk or standing in the shower. It comes from just playing around, from being bored, or even from total accidents. AI today doesn't work like that. It's directed. You give it a prompt, it matches patterns in its data. It doesn't have that idling mode where unexpected ideas can just bubble up. I mean, this is the classic story, right? The brilliant physicist Richard Feynman, he wasn't sitting at his desk trying to crack quantum electrodynamics when he had his breakthrough. He was in the cafeteria watching a plate wobble as someone threw it in the air. He was just playing, noticing something interesting. And that playful physical moment led to one of the biggest discoveries in modern physics. There was no prompt for that. So this all leads us to this really wild, kind of sci-fi question. For an AI to get to that next level, to have that truly generative creativity, does it need something like a human unconscious? A background process that's always churning, always making weird connections when it's not even being asked to? And what would that even look like in an AI? Well, you can imagine it might have a default mode, for when it's not working on a specific task, it's just thinking, finding random patterns. Maybe it could have a kind of biased attention where it gets drawn to certain ideas without really knowing why. It could even have a process like sleep to organize its memories. And maybe most importantly, a built-in sense of what's just interesting. Okay, so enough theory for a minute. While we're dreaming about what AI could do one day, let's ground ourselves in the incredible power of what human creativity is doing right now. Let's look at a real-world case study that shows exactly what happens when people connect the dots in a brilliant new way. So researchers at UMASS Amherst developed this experimental thing they call a super vaccine. And the results they saw in the lab, well, they were just staggering. In mouse models, it didn't just slow down aggressive cancers, it stopped them dead in their tracks. So how on earth does it work? It's actually incredibly clever.
First, they built a special nanoparticle. This tiny particle is like a delivery truck that can carry two different immune-boosting ingredients that normally you can't mix together. When you put them together this way, you get this massive, supercharged immune response. And here's the crucial part. It teaches the immune system not just to fight the cancer it sees, but to remember it, and then go hunt it down and destroy it anywhere else it pops up. Now, get ready for the results. For mice that were vaccinated against melanoma, a whopping 80% of them remained completely tumor-free for the entire 250-day study. Just let that sink in. That number is huge.
But to really get how big that is, you have to look at the flip side. What about the mice that didn't get the vaccine? Every single one of them died from the cancer in just 35 days. The difference couldn't be more dramatic. It shows you just how powerful this vaccine was in the lab. And this wasn't just for one type of cancer either. Look at these numbers. The vaccine had incredible tumor rejection rates across some of the nastiest cancers out there. 88% for pancreatic, 75% for breast cancer, and 69% for melanoma. The data speaks for itself. And you know what's really important here? It's the way the researchers talked about it. There was no hype. You didn't hear them shouting about a miracle cure. They just presented how it worked and showed the data. They focused on the one thing that actually matters: survival. Did the subjects live or die? That kind of quiet confidence, that's usually a sign that you're looking at some very real, very serious science.
Okay, let's zoom back out. How does this incredible breakthrough connect to our big questions about AI and creating new things? Let's tie it all together.
That vaccine we just talked about, it is the perfect real-world example of what we called combinatorial novelty. Remember that first type of discovery? This is it, playing out right in front of us. This wasn't some magic ingredient they discovered out of nowhere.
No, it was a masterpiece of synthesis. The researchers took ideas from three totally different fields, from nanoparticle engineering, cancer immunology, and something called adjuvant chemistry, and they combined them in a completely new way. The result was something that could do things none of those individual fields could do on their own. This was a human leap of creativity.
And that leaves us right here with this one massive question for the future. We've seen what human combinatorial creativity can do. It's amazing. But what about the next really big breakthrough? Is it going to come from that messy, unpredictable, unconscious spark in a human mind? Or is it going to come from an AI sifting through literally all of our collective knowledge and finding a profound, game-changing pattern that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time? The race is definitely on,